Enlightening our lives and showing us the proper way. So if you're living with the times, making sure your daily life's divine, yeah, you gotta watch Rabbi Benny's Torah videos today. Purim is the coolest holiday ever. It's the only time I can wake up weighing 23 pounds heavier than I did yesterday and really have no idea how it happened.
Well, there was just this bag of Hamantash and vodka, and that's all I remember.
You want some? Welcome to the Cabo Jewish Center's video blog, the Torah portion of Tisa. In this week, God commands Moses to take a census of the Jewish people in the desert. And if you're gonna make census, maybe you're gonna make some dollars too. Yeah, that's such a Zadie joke. So Moses has every guy over 20 give half a shekel towards the building of the tabernacle. That made up for lots of Jews, which of course made up for lots of moolah. What a Yiddish cup. Hey, I got an idea. Whoever's watching this video, donate $5 to the Cabo Jewish Center, and then we'll know how many viewers we have. What? Oh, there's a view count beside the video on the screen already. Oh, it's free. Hey, where's Moses when you need him? But in the opening words of the portion, when God commands Moses to count the Jewish people, he doesn't tell him to count. Rather, he says, Tisa, when you will lift up the heads of the Jewish people. Lift them up and elevate them through this important mitzvah of tzedakah and participation in the tabernacle's development. Of course, the entire portion then must be connected in some way to this idea of Tisa, being elevated in holiness. And yet, a major part of this week's portion tells us how only 40 days after receiving the Torah from God himself on Mount Sinai, the Jewish people build a golden calf and worship it as an idol. This causes Moses to come down from the mountain with the two beautiful tablets crafted by God. And when he sees what's going on below, he throws the two tablets to the ground, shattering them into many pieces. God is furious and wants to wipe everyone out, but Moses intervenes and he goes on a 40-day begging spree, convincing God to forgive his chosen nation. Finally, God agrees, and Moses goes back up to the mountain to receive the second tablets. Not quite exciting as the first ones, but seriously, who's gonna be fetching now?
Hey! These tablets are not as shiny as the first ones.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see that one coming. After another 40 days, Moses comes down from the mountain with the second tablets, and his face is shining. But hang on for just a second. So our portion of Tisa deals with being elevated to high spiritual heights. And in the same week, we are told of the lowest collective sin that the Jewish people ever did. Really? How can our worst possible sin as a nation be included in the theme of Tisa when you will lift up the heads of the children of Israel? Unless perhaps there's a unique advantage and quality with the giving of the second tablets over the first.
Oh, I know. The second tablets were number 2, and the first were only the number 1.
No, Elmala. There has to be something a little more special about those second tablets coming after such a terrible sin. Our rabbis tell us that indeed, with the giving of the first tablets, we were only going to receive a small portion of the written Torah, nothing more. With the second tablets, however, we received the entire written code, as well as all of the oral Torah. So in essence, those second tablets gave to us the infinity of our Torah, while the first tablets only allowed us access to a small portion of it. Hasidic thought explains that the reason is because the more one wishes to receive, the more humble and nullified he or she must feel. A person who allows his self-worth and his ego to be felt is someone who is unable to be inspired by that which is around him. So when the Jewish people received the Torah for the first time, they were a nation of slaves miraculously rescued by God and whisked over to the mountain, where with thunder and lightning and huge revelations, they were given the Torah by God himself. But this gave the Jewish people tremendous pride and self-worth. They began to feel just how special they were to be chosen and basked in its glory. This made them less able to tap into the infinity of the Torah. In fact, they began feeling so confident in their righteousness that they ended up serving an idol, the very antithesis to godliness. Only after the divine tablets were broken in front of their very eyes, and they fell under God's burning anger, did they realize just how unworthy and empty they really were. This brought them to finally feel nullified and empty, which brought about their repentance and the subsequent forgiveness by God. Thus, although the second tablets were given with much less fanfare, still it was specifically those that contained within them the infinity of the Torah, because we were a new, humbled nation. And this is why the second tablets truly elevated us to the greatest of spiritual heights. You know, unfortunately nowadays, there are those who are ashamed of their Judaism, and they don't want anybody to know that indeed they are Jewish, chosen, and special.
Me? Jewish? Was it so obvious?
Then there are those who allow their Jewish pride to overtake them so much that it brings them to feelings of self-righteousness. They feel so special that they don't even put in any effort to make their surroundings better and holier. This is the very sin of the golden calf and its lesson. As Jews, yes, we must be proud and unashamed of who we are, just like the first tablets showed us. Yet we also must be so humbled and nullified by the great responsibility that this brings, that we go out and get the work done, represented by those second tablets of repentance. In your life, be proud of who you are, but don't allow yourself to sit back, relax, and bask in your pride. Put on your dancing shoes, do another mitzvah, and change the world. Shabbat Shalom, and have an amazing week.